there was a raid by the military. I think Air Force or so. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Air Force invaded NEPA. That is for those of you who may be wondering what name is that. NEPA, former NEPA, invaded their office and harassed them. And I watched on the video, I saw some of them taken to their heels. Barrister, what do you make of this misconduct from the military authority, for God's sake? That was, when I watched it, I said, what an irresponsible act was this? Go ahead, please.
Is it not the same thing we're just saying about the dysfunction of the Nigerian state? This Air Force, I say, to be owing the IKEDC disco over 4 billion in debts.
Over 4 billion?
Yes, for electricity consumed.
That same military formation, just that for...
Yes, the Nigerian Air Force.
Wow.
Is the Air Force. They owe the IKEDC disco over 4 billion in unpaid electricity bills. And they did not show any inclination to pay what they owe. So they were disconnected. Now, these people came in gangster fashion and invaded the premises of the IKEDC disco, beat up the staff. About 10 staff were injured, destroyed some equipment, and assaulted other people and left. That is the sign, that is the symbol of a country where everything goes, where there is no law and order, whereby a law enforcement agency, a military agency, would degenerate to this kind of brigandage and rascality. Thankfully, the Air Force High Command has ordered a full investigation into the incident and have promised that they will punish any of their officers involved in that incident. But we see these kind of things again and again and again. You just need to have an argument with a military man on the road. They can carry you to their base, even though you are not a military person, and subject you to torture, beatings, and everything. You can have a car accident on the road with a military man, and I bet you'll be at the receiving end, without, and even if they are at fault. So this is the sort of society we live in and we are campaigning against.
Now, I didn't know that money was is that much. It's sort of, but whatever it is, honestly, I don't get it. Honestly, if I were the electric authority, now they should understand. The military should understand that that electric bodies now are no longer government, even if they were government. But I don't expect that from such misconduct from them. And now that it's a private organization, for God's sake, you think, I don't know, you think they can get away with this? That money they will pay because this is a private organization. They will pay that money. And if I were the authority, the the power authority, honestly, I will not, no matter what, even if government interferes rather, intervenes, yes, I will never restore power until that money, that the money is completely paid, honestly, to the last kobo. And that is one. Secondly, if I were, I hope the authorities of the power organization will take them, or have even taken them to court, the military authority to court, because they need to pay. They deserve to pay damages for what they did. That was complete lawlessness. They do not have an iota of right or reason to do what they did, for God's sake. Can you flog someone and expect this person not to cry? You are owing an organization, rightfully so, 4 billion naira. Yet you went to molest and beat that organization up. That was just very, very hooliganistic and very that's rascality in general terms. It's so sad. Honestly, when I watched that video, I felt just like you said. I just shook my head for the great country Nigeria. Why? things are supposed to be getting abated or getting at least getting better. Rather, they keep getting worse by the day. We have politicians doing their own there. We have the law enforcement agencies doing behaving in their own rascal way. Um, we have the military authorities again doing behaving the entire institutions that are supposed to be responsible to us, that are supposed to be accountable to us, they are supposed to be serving us, are actually the ones they have become our villains, the ones molesting and intimidating, harassing us, threatening our lives every day. What kind of system is this, for God's sake? When will Nigerians actually say enough is enough? We have gotten to our breaking point. I hope our leaders will not throw caution to the wind and keep doing all these things, because the day Nigerians will react, yeah, it will not be easy for anyone or everyone in the country, and that is just the reality. Barrister, you have any other thing to say here?
Yes, I know that it is very common for agencies of government at all levels to owe huge amounts to um, electricity companies and other uh, suppliers of this thing. I'm even told that Aso Rock itself
Yes, there was a time. Yeah, they did the same thing. There was a time they wanted to disconnect Aso Rock too.
exactly. Aso Rock itself used to hold huge amounts of money, and payment becomes very difficult for these organizations to secure. At the same time, you want them to perform optimally and serve the people very well. These things have to be
No,
put
but
in
but
perspective.
Barrister, sorry to cut you short. Now, don't because you using that word, you want them to serve us optimally. It is not government's fault. Let me be frank. Let's be fair. Why we have corruption all over the place, all over our institutions? These monies are actually embedded in the budget. All institutions submit their budgets, and these electricity bill, recurrent expenditures here and there, they are always inculcated in the budget. So these monies are released to the agencies and these government institutions. But the problem is the people at the helm of affairs, people heading these institutions or these agencies, they sit on this money, they divert this money, siphon this money to their private treasuries. And so that is the point here. Government releases this money. There's no doubt that it is not possible. So this money goes into private pockets. So the thing is, we should be talking about investigating these authorities, like this military, like the one we have in question right now. For God, 4 billion, for God's sake, year after year, government releases money through their budgetary allocation to the military institution. How did this money accumulate to 4 billion naira when every year they receive money from the government for payment, excuse me, to pay for all things like this? For God's sake, somebody must be held accountable. That is the point.
We know that even though these discourse have been privatized, we are still in Nigeria. If you offend powerful forces in the country, even though you are doing that business as a private distinct, your business will be adversely affected. So you have to be cautious in your business operations. It only comes to a head when no other effort can be made to secure these releases. So that is the
Yeah, but
country we live in.
Yeah,
Just
but I agree with you that in Nigeria, you go against the powers that be, the establishment, they will come after you and your business will suffer. But the thing is, you and I know that you cannot, if you want to fight with NEPA, you will be at the losing end, even if you are the establishment. If I'm the one who is heading the power authority, the electricity organization, honestly, I will tell them to shut down anything that goes to that, whichever whoever I have disagreement, whatever institution or agency I have this, we have disagreement with, we shut that person down. Let them. We'll shut everything down. Go into the worst case scenario. We'll go into hiding. Shut the entire system down and go into hiding. And that's justice. So what would they do? You can't fight the power authority and win. You'll be the loser, no matter even if you are the president.
You don't understand how the system works. You have to understand that this could bought the public infrastructure that they are operating now, and there are conditions in that purchase. The government can repurchase it. The government can take them back. So if you, as the head of a disco or the whole establishment, want to offend powerful forces, they have the power to intrigue and eventually take over, because there are a lot of things they can use against you too. It's not as if those people there, it's
That's
like
so
you
sad.
have skeletons in the cupboard. You don't go challenging another person, because your own skeletons will also be exposed. Inside the discourse, there are also wanton corruption. So it is not a simple matter of somebody doing business, strictly speaking, like that. You still have to respect the authorities that be, and walk a fine line between giving them the respect and also doing what you are supposed to do.
All right. Okay. I didn't see it from that angle. You're right. I didn't know. I thought honestly they are fully privatized. I didn't know that it's just a partial privatization. And government still have some kind of a level of power to actually rescind the whatever agreement they had.